guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you the best drugstore and affordable foundations for oily skin. Now if you're new to my channel and you don't know what my skin type is like, I have very weird skin. So I have very oily skin on my forehead, down the sides of my nose, on my chin, and also on the sides of my cheeks. And I also have very sensitive skin, so it's very hard for me to try and find foundations that don't break me out. I do have a lot of blemishes as well, a lot of redness, and I do also have combination skin as well because I do tend to get a couple of dry patches on my cheeks as well. So I have very weird skin, and these are all my recommendations for foundations. If any of you guys do have oily skin, or if you suffer from any of the things that I do, these are my recommendations because these have worked amazingly for me and I really like them. So if you're new to my channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and also make sure that you hit the bell icon just so you're notified every time I upload a new video. So all these foundations are my favourite foundations that are drugstore or affordable. You can also purchase them pretty much all around the world. I think there's only 2 of these foundations that you can't purchase in the UK, but you can get them shipped over anyway. So if you want to see my favourite drugstore foundations for oily skin, then just keep watching. So the first foundation I have is my newest favourite foundation, and this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. Now this one is in the shade light medium neutral. I also have light medium warm and fair warm, and that's so I can have it for different stages of self tan and also when I'm pale as well. And I also bought backups of this as well when I went to America because I love it that much. So when I went to America I purchased this, also my little sister and her friend did. We all have different types of skin and we all really love it. So I have very oily skin and I think this stays on my skin really nicely. It doesn't break me out, it looks really nice and flawless. It gives me a medium full coverage depending on how much that I put on, and it's also buildable. It also looks perfect in photos as well. And my sister has, I believe, normal skin, and then her friend has dry skin, and we all absolutely love this foundation. The only thing is my sister did say about that she has been breaking out from it. I haven't been breaking out from it, and my older sister actually had to borrow this the other day because she ran out of her foundation, and she said to me how much she loves it, but she did mention the smell of it. So the smell is quite different. It smells a little bit like paint, and I don't know why it smells like that because when I put it on my face I can't smell it after then, and I don't really know why it smells like paint because I don't think it has loads of different chemicals in here. It is cruelty free, that's all I know. But I love this foundation. It retails for about $5 and it's just the perfect foundation for me. I absolutely love it, and this is my go-to foundation when I'm going to work. I'll reach for this foundation and I know it's going to last all day, and it just looks perfect on the skin. Also, you can't purchase this in the UK, so if you do want to purchase it I definitely recommend getting it from Amazon or eBay. That's what I had to do with one of my foundations, and it comes very quickly. It's not too expensive. It is more expensive than if you buy it in the US, but you get a really good deal on it, and I love this foundation and I'm going to be stocking up a lot when I go to America in February because I just love it and it's my new favourite foundation. The next foundation I have is the Soap & Glory One Heck of a Blot foundation, and I did a first impression on this I think last year, and I'll link it down below for you or somewhere in this video so you can check it out. Now this is one of my favourite drugstore foundations by far, and this is probably the perfect foundation if you do have oily skin. If you have dry skin, stay away from this because this is one of those foundations where it keeps you completely matte. Now you do need to work very quickly with this because it is a liquid to powder foundation and it dries very quickly, and I've also noticed that I can't put liquid products on top of this because it does dry so quickly it starts to come off in areas that I put the liquid concealer on. So if you do use a concealer with this I recommend putting it on before you put this foundation on. But it looks so gorgeous on the skin, it looks perfect, it blurs the imperfections, it blurs the pores, and it covers amazingly. It's like a medium to full coverage foundation, but you can't build it up, but it does look really gorgeous on the skin. Also, this is the only drugstore foundation I've managed to find where I don't need to put an oil controlling primer on beforehand because this controls all of my oils. I do have a very oily T-zone, a very oily forehead, and this is the only drugstore foundation where I don't need to powder. The only one that controls my oils. After 12 hours of wear I don't look oily anywhere. Now it can start to come off around the sides of my cheeks and also down the sides of my nose after about 8 to 10 hours, but that is incredible for this foundation, and like I said I do not look shiny or oily at all even after 12 hours of wearing this because this just controls my oils incredibly. It's one of my favourites. I love it so much that I purchased another shade of this. Now when I did this in my first impression I wasn't as tanned as I am now, and I have started to use a different self tanner, so I have had to get some foundations in a darker shade, and this was a colour that I got first, the Cool Sand one, and this was a perfect shade for me. So I have Cool Sand, which is pretty much the same as Estee Lauder's 1W2 Sand foundation, and I've also got Happy Medium as well. So I absolutely love this foundation. It's one of my favourite drugstore foundations. You can also purchase it in the US and also the UK. And yeah, if you do have very oily skin and you don't have any dryness anywhere on your skin at all, I definitely recommend this foundation because this will keep you nice and oil free throughout the whole day. The next foundation I have is not actually a foundation, but it's a BB cream, and this is the Garnier Skin Active active combination to oily skin BB cream, and I found out about this about 4 years ago from Casey Holmes on her channel, and she was raving about it. She has oily skin and she was saying how much that she loved it, so I decided I was going to go ahead and purchase one. I also did a first impression on this, which I'll link down below for you so you can check that out, and that was about 3 years ago when I had the first formula. So with the first formula, the only problem that I had with it was that it smelled a little bit like paint, but then they've reformulated it twice since then, and the new formula I really do like. It's pretty much the same as the old one, only the scent is very different and it smells like pomegranates now, and I feel like that's a lot better for my skin, because having something that smells like paint on your skin, even though it's meant to be skincare, sort of makes you think it's not really gonna work. And I think it did start to break me out in the beginning when I was using it, because I think it did have a couple of chemicals in there that didn't react very well to my skin. But now I love the new formula. It works amazingly on the skin. It's a medium coverage. It also blurs all imperfections. It covers amazingly. It keeps me oil free for about 5 to 6 hours, and it just looks so nice on the skin. I just love it, and it's by far my favourite BB cream that I've ever tried. And like I said, it keeps me matte for a very long time. It also has loads of nutrients in it as well, so it helps with aging processes of the skin. Also helps to keep you matte during the day as well, and I just really like the skincare with it as well, and I feel like that my skin is getting a lot more healthier even while I'm wearing a product on the skin to cover up all my imperfections anyway. So the only thing that I do have to say about this foundation is that the shade range is really bad. So in the US I think they have 4 different shades, but in the UK they have only 2. You have light or you have medium, and I have both of them, and I use light when I have a very light self tan, and then I use medium when I have a deep self tan. And just by looking at the swatches, there's a very big difference between both of them. So as you can see, this one's light and this one's medium, and there's a very big difference between them. And the medium one has a really weird undertone. It sort of has a pinky red undertone, and it just looks very different on the skin. So the shade does sort of match my self tan. It is deep enough for my self tan. The only thing, like I said, that I do have to say is that it is very pink and red, so it does look very different on my neck and my face to the rest of my body, because it does have a different undertone. But I do like these. They keep me matte for 5 to 6 hours. It makes my skin feel really nice, and I feel like I'm getting loads of nutrients in it and things like that. So this is by far my favourite BB cream, and if you do want to try one and you do have oily skin, I definitely recommend this one because it is really good. The next foundation I have is also one of my newest favourite foundations, and this is the Sonia Kashuk Soft Focus Satin Matte Foundation, and I bought this in America when I went in February, and I tried this out because Casey Holmes did a video on it and she said how much she loved it. So I decided I was going to go ahead and get 2 different colours. I have 03 and also 02 for one of different stages of self tan, and I tried this out when I was in America with all the humidity, and it looks gorgeous on the skin. It looks so nice and flawless. It blurs all of my imperfections. It gives you a medium coverage, but then you can also build it up. It's not one of those foundations where it goes on really matte and then you can't buff it out and it dries quickly or anything like that. This is one of those foundations where if it comes off during the day, you can put extra foundation on the areas where it's come off, and it blends in seamlessly, and it works amazingly with all of my other products. It looks so nice on the skin. The undertone is perfect for my self tan as well, and they do have, I think, 7 different shades of this, and this one is in a shade 03, and this is a warm undertone which works perfectly when I'm self tanned, and I use this a lot when I go to work. I know for a fact that it's going to last me a very long time. It lasts about 5 to 6 hours and it starts to come off on the sides of my face, but like I said, you can build this up during the day as well because it just goes really nice and seamlessly on the skin. So I really like this foundation. It only cost me about $12 from Target, and I liked it so much I got 2 different shades, and I'm really bummed that I can't get this here in the UK, because when I go to America in February I'm going to have to go ahead and get another one of these. The only thing I do have to say about this is the scent. Now I love the scent of it. It smells like cinnamon, and I didn't know that before I bought it. Then I tried it out and then I researched it, and loads of people said that they could smell cinnamon as well, and I think it smells really nice. I don't know about you, but I like the smell of cinnamon on the skin, and I thought it was a little bit strange at first, but I know that a lot of people don't like strong smells of foundations, so that might put you off of this foundation. But once I put it on the skin, I can't smell it after that, and it just feels so nice on the skin. It doesn't break me out. It looks flawless as well, blurs all of my imperfections, and it just looks like my own skin but better. And the last foundation I have is a favourite of mine for the last couple of years. I've spoken about it so much on my channel, and this is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation for normal to oily skin, and I got this in America a few years ago because people were raving about it. I only paid about $5 for it, and It is amazing and it's one of my favourite drugstore foundations. I've tried loads of foundations in my lifetime and I end up going back to this one because I just like it that much and I use it a lot as well. So I have 3 different shades in this. I have a very, very fair one. I have this one which is 128. Then I also have the shade darker than this because I do have it through different stages of self-tan and it lasts a very long time on my skin. I think it gets to about 6 or 7 hours and then it starts to look oily on the skin and then I have to powder or blot. But it works amazingly on my skin. It looks flawless. It gives you a medium to full coverage foundation. This is definitely a dupe of the Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation. I only took this one and the Estee Lauder foundation when I went to America last time and these two hold up amazingly. Obviously the Estee Lauder Double Wear one is going to last all day. It doesn't sweat off or anything like that. I wear it to the theme parks when I know for a fact I'm going to get wet and it doesn't come off. But this one I used when I knew for a fact I wasn't going to go on any water rides. It lasts all day even with all the humidity. I also love the fact that it have loads of different colours in it. In America they pretty much have a whole rail of this foundation. They have light ones, I have fair ones, medium, dark, everything in between, darker than dark, lighter than fair. They have warm, neutral, cool undertones. They have every single colour that you can imagine. Honestly, I think it would be very hard to find a foundation shade that's not going to match you in this foundation because they pretty much cater for everyone and it's just an amazing foundation. The only thing I do have to say is that over here in the UK they don't have a lot of shades. They only have a couple of selected ones and I don't really know why. So if you are in the US, I definitely recommend picking this up because you can get loads of different shades in this and I really do love it and I definitely recommend picking this up if you do have combination to oily skin and you do want a drugstore foundation because this is by far one of my favourites. Now my top 3 foundations that I have are obviously my Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless, but the best one is a Wet n Wild one and then the one after that is the Safe and Glory One Heck of a Blot foundation just because this keeps me matte all day and I absolutely love it. So these are my 3 favourite foundations that I definitely recommend if you do have oily skin. I do also like the other ones that I mentioned in this video as well, but these ones are my top 3 and I absolutely love them and I've tried these out loads of times. I've tried these out for a very long time and these are the best ones that I've managed to find at the drugstore for my oily skin, for my sensitive skin and also for my breakouts and my redness as well. So these are all my favourites of the best drugstore foundations for oily skin. I hope that you enjoyed this video and make sure that you comment down below to let me know what your favourite drugstore foundation is and also your skin type because I love to see all the different recommendations. And make sure that you give this video a very big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and I'll see you in my next video guys. Bye!